Nicole and Josh, just thankful that you guys are willing to share your story. During the stay-at-home order and the COVID crisis, how have you guys been doing?
Overall, pretty good, I think.
Yeah. I'd say at first it was a lot more challenging because when, you get everybody filled with fear, you've got a lot of panic kind of going on, and, everybody's trying to prepare for the future. And when you see those empty shelves at the store and stuff like that, I couldn't actually bring myself to go because I think I knew I would unravel a little with just fear and panic of like, what do we do? I mean, we've got 6 kids, and it's like, man, I wanna live in today, but I wanna prepare for tomorrow. I don't know how to live in this tension. And so it was kind of really hard at first, being like, should we go and buy everything we can get our hands on? Do we, just kind of step back? God will provide because we know He will, and He always has for us. And just kind of like feeling out, what do we do in this situation? And I feel like God has taught me a lot with that, because I was able to really just kind of step back and be like, okay, God, how do we live in this tension of living in the moment, but preparing for tomorrow? Right now, I'm filled with fear of the unknown. And I mean, we talked about with our kids, having so many kids, we're like, well, let's just do one helping, and let's not do extra desserts, or like whatever, trying to like get them into that mindset of not being fearful, but like, portion control and things like that. It was just a lot to kind of process. But I think what I found God teaching me, or like trying to help me with, is learning that if I'm fearful, looking for tomorrow is not the time for me to do that. For me to stay in today, I have to think about the things I'm grateful for.
Josh, can you tell us what are some of the struggles and difficulties you faced, maybe as a pastor, a father, and a husband?
So one of the biggest struggles here has been, already leading up to this, for me, I was trying to find a balance between work and home life. Ministry is sometimes like we just talked about this in a podcast. You're always on call. It can be, and there's always more that can be done. So I had been taking steps to try to guard my family time a little bit more, to where I could dedicate a little bit more time to my wife and to our kids. And really, I was taking good steps the week before all this crap hit the fan. So that just as I'm trying to get some momentum, like everything, went to crap. And now, I'm working in a basement office. It's not even, I put a desk down in our back room in the basement. It's been really difficult to try to navigate, okay, now that I'm working from home, how do I draw the line between work and family? And quite frankly, digital church has proven to be a significantly increased workload than when we're here meeting in person. So there's even more work to do, and so yeah, it's been a challenge trying to find the right balance, if that makes sense.
So with those difficulties and struggles that each of you have faced, Nicole, you thinking about God's provision, and Josh, you learning about Sabbath and rest, how have you both seen God faithful, and how have you each grown in the midst of those difficulties?
I'll piggyback on hers, because actually, with the provision, yes, the rest, and actually here a week and a half ago, I took a few days off because I could feel I was getting to this point where it's like, dude, like you need to slow down. So I took a few days off, and it was wonderful. It was refreshing, just good to catch my breath. But on the provision side of things, that's one of the ways over the course of my life, I've seen God provide in all sorts of ways. But even then, like in that first week where everything was kind of going crazy, I remember going to the grocery store and in the back of my mind, it's like, well, hey, you know what? The toilet paper's all gone. maybe I should just buy 1 or 2 extra packages, you know? And I was actually checked by the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit said, hey, I tell you that if you seek me, I will provide for you what you need. Are you gonna trust me in the middle of this? And I was really convicted by that.
Well, yeah, and too, we had it where, you know, back when you couldn't get bread, you know, it was pretty much all sold out. All that was left was like that really good, like healthy.
Yeah, which is gross. You know, it's got like nuts and crap on it.
Stuff on there. And anyway, so then all of a sudden I got a knock on the door. And we were out of bread. We were out of like a lot of food. And all of a sudden I open the door and I see like this whole bag of just like groceries. And in it had like, you know, like pizza rolls or whatever they're called. And like the kids just freaked out because, you know, like pizza rolls for our size of a family, I mean, you'd have to buy like
go through like 3 bags of it.
It's just not a thing. And so it was just like, wow, God, I was just struggling with this. How do I prepare for tomorrow and not be fearful? And, you know, like you provide for the birds, you care about even just the littlest creatures you take care of. Like we aren't to worry about this. And so when I could put my trust in him, next thing I know, this person just shows up and they just blessed us. And I was so blown away. I started crying. I was like, I'm probably gonna cry now. Just giving so generously when everybody else was not, you know, when they were kind of scooping it in.
Right, people are hoarding, and then you've got somebody who's like, no, hey, I want to go out and I want to be a blessing to other people.
I just want to bless you. And it was like, wow, God, you are in this moment. You are teaching us.
In the midst of the COVID crisis and kind of the lockdown order, stay-at-home order, each of you tell me briefly, what's something that's bringing you joy, that's making you happy?
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
That doesn't matter.
So I mean, so I'll hit on 2 real quick. I mean, one of them is, I mean, I love my kids, right? I mean, sure, sometimes it's obnoxious, like working from home because they're always around. Kids, I love you. I know you're gonna watch this. But I mean, it's been cool to be able to spend more time with some of them, especially, you know, my youngest is 1, you know, and I've definitely bonded with him more over this time than I would have otherwise. So that's one real quick. And the other one is I love to play bass. And since we're being really tight on who can be in the worship center when we're doing our services, I've been able to play bass. Now, Miles and James, I'm looking forward to when you guys can come back and play again because I love listening to you guys. But it's been cool to be able to be a regular part of the music team again. That brings me a lot of joy.
Well, for me, dancing is just a huge part of my life. And it's been really fun being able to still work on that. We're still doing, you know, Radiant Women's Fitness and having that to like look forward to, keep practicing the dances. I've learned about a lot, like on iMovie, how to make videos and things like that. But also just getting out and walking. I've been walking a lot with the kids. And
if you could give one tip to someone who's struggling right now, what would it be?
The analyst in me is like, what are they struggling with?
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. And what season of life are they in? Do they have children?
I mean, and maybe this is just piggybacking on Ryan's message, you know, from this past week. But it really is shift your focus, right? It's easy to look at what's going on in our world. It's easy to scroll through social media, which first of all, maybe if you're struggling and you're freaking out about stuff, maybe get off social media. There's a lot of garbage out there. A lot of people expressing opinions that may or may not have anything to do with reality. So be mindful of the inputs that you have into your brain. That's one thing. But then shift your focus from the things that are going on around you to God. If you're a follower of Jesus, right, we know that Holy Spirit is with us in the midst of everything, and really focus on that. Take time to tune in to what Holy Spirit wants to say to you. I don't consider myself a high anxiety person, but I've had times where like I'll freak out about stuff, and Holy Spirit just in a gentle whisper will remind me, and he'll say, hey, I've got you.